Today we have
Come on.
Tuesday officially. Tuesday with Mauri.
Yes.
Okay. So today we have another topic of interest, which is very interesting. I spoke about this in Malay a few months ago, I think a few weeks ago. And one of the people came back and told me that, you know, the advice I gave, and I was like, yeah, which one? And I was like, they were like, about salt. So salt is our topic today, Tuesday with Mauri.
Oh.
Ah, you got it right.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got a bunch of questions regarding salt, right? So
Correct. I was launching this idea about salt because I believe it's very much underestimated, and many people speak always about sugar, how to reduce the sugar intake and so on, the inflammation it causes. But in order to clarify a misconception where many people get very much confused, I would like to know, Dr. Shashi, what is the difference between salt and sodium?
It's okay. I think what we are talking about is there are so many types of salts. Cooking salt. Okay, now I'm going to classify. Cooking salts which are used for human, like for our food and, you know, like human consumption, all right? So there's few types. I'm sure you've heard of the Himalayan sea salt, the Celtic sea salt, and then there's like a black salt, and then there's, you know, like so many other types of salts. So there's a Hawaiian salt or something like that. All these salts might come with a lot of minerals and whatever, right? And the basic table salt that we use for cooking, the coarse salt, is basically ionized sodium chloride. Right, NaCl. Sodium chloride is normal table salt. The other salts might come with other different elements to it, like magnesium, maybe calcium, depending. So most of the time it's magnesium, calcium, different types, even potassium. So there's so many different types of salts that might be infused inside different kinds of salts, as I said just now. So the ones which are basically we need on a daily basis is the basic sodium chloride or table salt, right? Because we are very dependent. I mean, our body is basically, it needs salt, right? Our sodium potassium pump, our muscle movement, our organ function, brain function, everything depends on taking table salt on our daily food, and how they actually help regulate a lot of things, blood pressure, sugar craving, so many things.
And so to clarify, what's the difference? Because when it comes to understanding what's the daily intake, and of course according person by person, what's the difference between salt and sodium?
So sodium chloride is a type of salt. Types of salts, there's so many different types of salts. You know, like I said just now, magnesium salt, potassium salt, so many other mineral containing salts and all those.
Okay.
So the different types. What we are talking about, sodium itself is just, we're talking about sodium is just a metal, a group 1 metal, which is not stable. You can't eat that. So when it combines with chloride molecule, you get sodium chloride. And that's what we name it as table salt.
More bioavailable.
Yeah.
Dr. Shashi, what are the benefits of an adequate intake of salt for body and brain?
I'm sure on a daily basis these days we have a lot, you, me, everyone, anyone, right? I'm trying not to depend on coffee anymore, but depending, we take, and also the most important thing, most of our water these days is, if you have a water dispenser, is a reverse osmosis water. Now, if you go and YouTube to see how reverse osmosis water works, have you ever noticed that it's not as satisfying as drinking mineral water? If you take mineral water, a label, look at it, just say spritzer or whatever it is, you see the amount of salts inside. There are minerals inside. Yeah, these are the minerals inside. These are different types of salts inside there. So there could be sodium, there could be potassium, there could be magnesium. Different types of mineral water has different types of minerals inside, and which is higher and which is lower depending on where they get this water from, the source. Alright, now reverse osmosis water most of the times doesn't contain much of these minerals, and it is on a reverse osmosis basis, right? The work and function how it does is, the moment you drink, it can actually not stay in your body for too long, and you can even feel like, I want to go to the toilet and pee out immediately as fast as possible. Now, we want this water to stay in our body as much as possible, because we don't want to only drink. People say like, oh, I drink like 3 liters of water a day. Good. How much of it is kept inside your body, and how much of it is being thrown away? Your coffees, your teas, your other diuretic drinks, whatever you drink, green tea or whatever, it actually pushes the water out of the body, depending on your activity, how fast it is. And your body wants to keep it and use it for so many functions. Water is so vital and important, right? So now what salt does is, now, have you heard this term called isotonic drink? Like after sports you drink, oh, it's an isotonic drink, like you know, your sports drink and all those. Now, we want an isotonic solution so that your salt is actually making it more isotonic and more bioavailable, like your saline water, which the doctors put on you when you're sick, you know, like in a drip and all those. It's more of an isotonic solution which is more suitable for your body, right? As compared to water, which might be a bit more hypotonic or hypertonic depending. If it's sugar, it's mostly hypertonic. If it's normal water, it might be a bit more towards hypotonic. It might not be enough. But adding a bit of salt, make sure that the water stays in your body longer. Alright, that's one thing. The other thing is also something which your body, if you're craving for it, most of the times you crave for sugar. But what your body actually probably might need after a workout or after some activity is actually some salt water. Even in fact, when you wake up in the morning, you are probably sleeping in the air-conditioned room, fan, whatever. You might get slightly dehydrated, so the first thing to do in the morning is to drink some water. But best is to add some salt, a pinch or two of salt. It might not taste salty, that's okay. It's just there so that the water stays longer in your body. It might taste slightly different, that's okay. But I myself take like one pinch of salt, put it into water, like a bit of hot water, and then add it, drink it. I might even add some lemon to it, depending. I want a bit more electrolytes. You know, lemon water contains citric acid, bioflavonoids and all, so many other things inside there, flavonoids and all. So yeah, basic is now add some salt to your drinking water in the morning. It helps you hydrate better.
And fantastic. And according to my studies, even the brain itself gets some signaling. For example, it helps to reduce the craving of sugar. One of them. It helps you to even more energy, especially as you know, Dr. Shashi and myself, we are very much into, we suggest the low carbohydrates diet. And once, of course, you do not have a high intake of carbohydrates, there is not any kind of water retention. So how important is, while you are adapting a low carbohydrates protocol, to have a regular and good intake of salt?
Yes. So like I said, your whole body's function, there is something called the sodium potassium pump, right? So that's like the basis for your body's function, action potential and all those. So if you go back to, I mean, if anyone who has seen a physiology book, I think it's the first chapter if I'm not mistaken, I forgot. So this is the first thing they actually teach you in medical school in physiology, the sodium potassium pump, the action potential. And this is based on sodium and potassium, right? So sodium is a very important salt in our body, and table salt or normal salt is our intake, the way we take it, put it in our food, water, whatever. And this drives you, your brain function and all those, even your muscular function, your cellular function needs potassium. So you can't go without potassium, but your body has its own way of regulating this potassium balance. If there's too much of it in your kidneys, there's some way that it can throw it out and then have more water, or it can do the other way around, have more salt, don't throw out too much of salt and keep it inside your body. So your body is smart enough to regulate this, but we need to supply it with good amount.
And there you go for the third and last question. In order to give some guidance to our audience, how much salt is needed per day?
Now it depends on your activity, the first thing. It depends on your activity. If you're someone who is around 70 to 80 kilograms, you are active, you do not have any kidney issues, you do not have any other medications like diuretics and all those. For a normal person, it's said around 2.3 to 3 grams per day.
2.3 to 3 grams.
Yeah, and as the general rule, you don't exceed 4.5 to 5 grams a day. You don't exceed that. We don't need that much. So around 2.3 to 3 grams or 2,300 milligrams to 3,000 milligrams is like the recommended daily
intake.
Yeah, dose for sodium.
And just to wrap it up, how important for athletes, for whoever performs in a quite intense way, gym, running, cycling,
yes.
how important is to have a proper intake of salt?
Of course, you're going to sweat it out first thing. So when you sweat, No sweat tastes sweet. It's all salty. So your body fluids are mostly salty, right? So it's because you generally throw out anything which is more salty from the body, isotonic. You lose this fluid. Your natural pH and amount of this salt in your body is to keep it isotonic. So when you sweat it out, of course, it's going to be more salt-based components coming out from your body. You sweat it out. You lose a lot of salt in your urine, your feces, so many excretions which come out from your body. You lose salt by that way, right? And as I said earlier, your body is able to keep it with a few enzymes or hormones from your kidney to regulate this salt, not to throw too much of salt outside, and also not to keep too much. Your body is smart enough to regulate this water and salt intake. Yeah. So yeah, it's super important. And add a pinch or two of salt into your water in the morning. The first thing, you'll see a huge difference in your energy levels. Absolutely. And your body is able to keep this before you take your coffee in the morning. Try this and then probably have your coffee later after your breakfast or something like that. And see, do not have coffee too early because you're going to you're going to be dehydrated as fast as possible. Correct. So we don't want that to happen.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Shashi, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will see you in the next episode.
Sure.
And leave comments below, engage with us so we can offer you more and more intakes.
More videos, more topics. If you want to talk about anything else, leave us a comment. And don't forget to share, like and subscribe. All right?
Thank you.